Welcome to Lakers News Fan Report, your home for the latest breaking news, insider updates, and deep dive analysis on our beloved Los Angeles Lakers. I'm here to bring you everything you need to know about the purple and gold, from roster moves to front office strategy, from game analysis to the biggest trade rumors circulating around the league. This is where Lakers Nation comes to stay informed, and today, I have something that's going to completely change the way you look at this entire season and what's coming next. Los Angeles is playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. And I know that sounds like hyperbole, but stay with me because what I'm about to break down is going to make you see every single decision Rob Pelinka has made in the last few months in a completely different light. There is a method to what might seem like madness to casual observers, and it all points to something absolutely massive on the horizon that could reshape this franchise for the next decade. You've been watching the trade deadline approach. You've seen the names being thrown around in the media. You've heard the criticism about the Lakers not making a move, not pulling the trigger on deals that other teams would have jumped on immediately without hesitation, and I get it. I really do. When you're a Lakers fan, you want action. You want your team to be aggressive, to show that winning mentality that has defined this franchise for decades. You want to see the organization doing something, anything, to improve the roster right now. But here's the thing, and this is what I need you to understand. Sometimes the most aggressive move is the one you don't make yet. Sometimes being patient is actually the boldest strategy available. Let me paint you a picture of what's actually happening in the Lakers' war room right now, because the reality is far more calculated than what appears on the surface. The organization is sitting on draft picks that suddenly have become incredibly valuable. Not just valuable in the traditional sense of what you can flip them for today, but valuable for what they represent in the summer and beyond. Right now, as we speak, the Lakers can only move their 2031 first-round pick. That's it. That's the only future draft capital they have available to trade at this moment. And you might think that limits their options significantly, and you'd be right, but only if we're talking about right now. About this exact moment in time, everything changes when the calendar flips to summer. Once we hit the offseason, the Lakers suddenly gain the ability to trade their 2026 first-round pick. That's 5 years earlier than the 2031 pick, which means it's exponentially more valuable to other teams. It means they can package multiple picks together. It means they can construct a trade package that very few teams in this league can match in terms of value and flexibility. And here's where it gets really interesting. The Lakers know exactly what they're waiting for. This isn't some vague hope or general optimism. They have specific intelligence about market opportunities. This isn't about being passive or scared to make a move. This isn't about being risk-averse or lacking ambition. This is about being strategic in a way that championship organizations need to be in today's NBA landscape. The Lakers are protecting their assets because they have intelligence, real insider information that something significant could happen in the coming months. And when it does, they want to be in the absolute best position possible to strike decisively. They're not reacting to the market like so many teams do. They're anticipating it, positioning themselves ahead of time. Now, let's talk about Austin Reaves for a second, because understanding what's happening with him is absolutely crucial to understanding the bigger picture of what the Lakers are building. Reaves has absolutely exploded this season in ways that even the most optimistic Lakers fans couldn't have predicted. I'm talking about a legitimate transformation from a solid role player into an all-star caliber guard who's competing with the best in the Western Conference. He's averaging 27.8 points per game. That's not a typo. That's not an exaggeration. 27.8 points per game, along with 5.6 rebounds and 6.7 assists. Those are franchise player numbers. Those are numbers that put you in conversations for all NBA teams, not just all-star selections. Those are the kind of statistics that define elite guards in this league, and the chemistry he's developed with Luka Doncic is something truly special to watch. When you see them on the court together, You witness a partnership that reminds you of the great duos in Lakers history. They know where each other is going to be before the play even develops. They make each other better in ways that go beyond just basketball skills. They've built something that goes beyond just playing basketball together on the same team. This is the kind of foundation that you build dynasties on. This is the kind of partnership that wins championships when you surround it with the right complementary pieces and the right system. The Lakers' decision-makers have made it abundantly clear through their actions and their internal communications that Reeves is untouchable in trade discussions. And I know there are fans out there who might think, well, if we can get a true superstar, you have to be willing to give up anyone, right? But that's short-term thinking that doesn't account for long-term team building. The Lakers are looking at Austin Reeves and seeing a cornerstone player who's still getting better, who's still developing new aspects of his game, who's on a reasonable contract relative to his production, and who fits perfectly with what they're building for the future. They're not going to sacrifice that foundation unless they absolutely have to, unless there's literally no other way to make a deal happen. This is why any conversation about making a major move right now, in the middle of the season, becomes extremely complicated from a practical standpoint. If you want to acquire a true superstar in the middle of the season, you have to give up significant pieces that other teams value. You don't get franchise-altering talent without paying a franchise-altering price. That's just the reality of how the NBA works. And right now, with the limited draft capital available for trade and the organizational unwillingness to move Reeves in any scenario, the Lakers are essentially saying through their actions, we're not interested in a move that would compromise what we're building just to make noise at the deadline and satisfy impatient fans. But here's where the strategy becomes absolutely brilliant when you understand the full scope. The offseason presents a completely different landscape with dramatically different opportunities. LeBron James will be a free agent with the ability to restructure his deal. Rui Hachimura will be a free agent. Several other players on the roster will have expiring contracts that become valuable trade chips. Suddenly, the Lakers have massive financial flexibility that doesn't exist right now. They can clear significant cap space. They can structure deals in creative ways that aren't possible during the season due to salary matching requirements. They can offer a package that includes multiple first-round picks, young players, and expiring contracts without gutting their core or sacrificing the foundation they've built. And the Lakers are planning to give Reeves a major extension this summer, somewhere in the range of $40 to $45 million annually, according to multiple sources close to the organization. That number could go even higher if he makes an All-NBA team, which is looking increasingly likely given his current production level. Some people might look at that commitment and think it limits future flexibility, but actually it does the opposite when you understand modern NBA salary cap mechanics. By locking in Reeves on a long-term deal, the Lakers are establishing their foundation with certainty. They're saying, this is our guy, we're building around him and Luka, and now we have the clarity to construct the rest of the roster accordingly with specific needs in mind. So we've established that the Lakers are being patient and strategic with clear purpose. We've established that they have significant flexibility coming in the summer that doesn't exist now. But here's the question you're probably asking, the question that's been building throughout this entire explanation. What are they waiting for? What move is so significant that it justifies this level of patience and preparation? What player could possibly be worth this calculated approach? There's been some interesting activity around the league recently that has caught everyone's attention and set the basketball world buzzing. One of the NBA's biggest superstars, one of the most dominant players of this generation, recently wiped his social media clean of all content related to his current team. Every photo, every post, every acknowledgement of his franchise gone. Now, in the age we live in, that's not just a casual decision made on a whim. When a player of that caliber removes everything associated with their franchise from their social platforms, it sends a powerful message to everyone paying attention. It creates waves throughout the league. It makes teams around the NBA start paying very close attention to a situation that could develop. Reports are circulating from credible sources that this player and his representation have begun serious conversations with his current team's management about his future direction with the organization. The term long-term future keeps coming up in these discussions, which in NBA speak usually means we need to figure out if this is still the right fit, if this situation still works for both sides moving forward. And when you're talking about a two-time MVP, a Finals MVP, a Defensive Player of the Year, one of the most dominant players of this generation who can impact both ends of the floor, those conversations create opportunities for teams that are prepared to act decisively when the moment arrives. The Knicks have been mentioned frequently as having the assets to make a serious run at acquiring this caliber of player if he becomes available. They have draft picks stockpiled from previous trades. They have young talent that teams covet. They have the kind of package that Milwaukee, or any team for that matter, would have to seriously consider if they're rebuilding. The Spurs have Victor Wembanyama and could offer a compelling future-focused package. The Heat have Pat Riley and a championship culture that attracts stars who want to win. Competition would be absolutely fierce among contending teams. But the Lakers have something that none of these other teams have in their arsenal. They have Los Angeles, they have the purple and gold legacy that means something to every player, and they have a championship window that's open right now with Luka and Reeves in their primes. Multiple sources have indicated that Luka Doncic himself has been actively advocating for the Lakers to pursue this opportunity when it becomes available. Think about what that means for a second. Your young superstar, the guy you're building around alongside Reeves, is telling the organization directly, "Get me this player. This is who I want to play with. This is who I need next to me." When Luka speaks, the Lakers listen carefully because they know he's not just thinking about stats or highlights or individual accolades. He's thinking about championships. He's thinking about who he needs next to him to compete for titles year after year, to build something special that lasts. Now, let me tell you who we're actually talking about here, because I've built this up enough, and the name is going to make everything I've just explained make perfect sense. The player the Lakers are positioning themselves to pursue aggressively, the reason they're protecting their draft picks so carefully, the reason they're being patient when other teams are making desperate moves, the reason they're willing to wait until summer when they have maximum flexibility, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Yes, the Greek freak himself. One of the most dominant forces in basketball today. A player who can impact the game on both ends of the floor in ways that very few players in NBA history ever have. We're talking about a two-time MVP who completely dominated the league during his peak seasons, a Defensive Player of the Year who can guard all 5 positions, a Finals MVP who delivered Milwaukee their first championship in 50 years. Someone who at 31 years old still has several elite years ahead of him at the absolute highest level. Imagine Giannis in a Lakers uniform. Just stop and visualize it for a second. Imagine him running pick and rolls with Luka and Reeves. Imagine him protecting the rim on defense while Anthony Davis patrols the perimeter and creates havoc. Imagine the matchup nightmares that lineup would create for every team in the league. The situation in Milwaukee has become increasingly uncertain over the past few months. Giannis has spent his entire career with the Bucks, delivered them a championship in 2021, given absolutely everything to that organization and that city. But there's a window in professional sports, and when you're one of the best players in the world, you have to make sure you're in a position to compete for championships every single year. The Bucks' recent struggles, the questions about their roster construction and whether they can compete with the elite teams, the changes in their coaching staff and system, all of these factors contribute to a situation where Giannis might be evaluating his options more seriously than ever before in his career. And this is where the Lakers' strategy becomes so powerful and potentially game-changing. By maintaining their flexibility, by protecting their assets, by refusing to make a panic move at the deadline that would deplete their resources. They've positioned themselves to be serious players if and when Giannis becomes available on the market. They can offer a package built around multiple first-round picks without sacrificing Reeves or disrupting the core they've built with Luka. They can sell him on, playing in Los Angeles, on the Lakers' legacy and what it means to wear purple and gold, on partnering with Luka and Reeves to form one of the most formidable trios in basketball that could dominate for years. Let me be crystal clear about something important. This isn't guaranteed to happen. I'm not telling you this is a done deal or that Giannis is definitely coming to LA. Acquiring a player of Giannis's caliber is incredibly difficult under any circumstances. The Bucks will demand a massive return if they trade him. There will be intense competition from other teams with assets and ambition. Giannis himself will have significant say in where he goes through trade demands or free agency, and he might ultimately decide to stay in Milwaukee or choose a different destination entirely. But the fact that the Lakers have positioned themselves to even be in this conversation seriously, the fact that they're one of the teams that could realistically put together a compelling package, that alone is significant and shows excellent organizational planning. The Lakers are betting on patience, and in today's NBA, where so many teams make reactionary moves that they regret 6 months later, that patience might be their greatest strength. They're not trading their future for a marginal upgrade today that doesn't move the championship needle. They're preserving their ability to make a franchise-altering move when the right opportunity presents itself. And based on everything we're seeing and hearing from sources around the league, that opportunity might be coming sooner than people think. Think about what a Luka-Reeves-Giannis trio would mean for this franchise long-term. You'd have 3 players who can create offense at an elite level, who can defend multiple positions, who complement each other's games perfectly without overlapping skills. Luka as your primary ball handler and offensive engine who orchestrates everything. Reeves as your versatile wing who can score efficiently, facilitate for others, and defend at a high level. Giannis as your dominant force in the paint who can protect the rim, rebound at an elite level, and finish everything around the basket. That's a championship-caliber core, and you'd still have pieces around them to build a complete roster that can compete with anyone. So here's where I want to hear from you, Lakers Nation. What do you think about this strategy? Do you trust the patience, or would you rather see the team make a move now? If Giannis becomes available this summer, what would you be willing to give up to get him? Do you believe in the Luka-Reeves-Giannis trio as a championship foundation? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Looking at everything we've discussed, I'm genuinely excited about where this franchise is headed. The Lakers aren't just hoping for success, they're strategically positioning themselves for it. If you want to stay updated on every development with this situation and everything, Lakers, make sure you subscribe to Lakers News Fan Report and hit that notification bell. I'll be bringing you updates as this story develops. Until next time, Lakers Nation, let's trust the process and get ready for something special.